Tom here, Adventure, and welcome to my channel. This channel is primarily about wild camping and wild camping equipment. Part of equipment that you're going to be using for wild camping will always be a head torch. Today I have two head torches from Ledlenser. This one here is an H15R core. This one here is an H7R core. So are you interested in finding out a bit more about these lights? I have purchased both of these lights myself, so the lights have not been sent to me. I've purchased them based on my own experience of lights in the past. I'm a big fan of lots of different lights, so I've had lots of different lights over many different, with different brands over the years. And also, I'm going to show you some great videos of the lights actually in action, so stay tuned to watch those later. Alright, so personally, what are the features that I'm looking for in a headlamp? The first thing I think I would look at, or I suppose it interests me, is the actual lumen output, or how bright the torch is. This H15R core has a constant lumen output of 1000 and a boost mode of 2500, and that boost mode will last for 10 seconds. The H7R core has a constant lumen output of 600 and will boost up to 1000 again for 10 seconds. So depending on your actual usage, the amount of, or on your usage requirement, the amount of lumen is fairly crucial. For me, for overnight camps, I think 600 lumen is in and around the sweet spot. It gives you enough brightness. But then sometimes you can go either way from that. You know, you can, if you fancy a bit more power, you can go for something like this, or if you fancy less power, you can choose a slightly lower powered head torch. I also like to buy from reputable brands. Reputable brands is not really maybe the right word, but I suppose brands that I've had a previously good user experience with. I've used lights from Black Diamond, Petzl, Exposure, you know, would be some of the brands I've had before, and obviously Ledlenser. And personally in the past I've had a good user experience with this brand. And the run times on these are actually very good. So the H15 will actually run for 5 hours on constant, and the H7R core will run for 4 hours on constant. Moving on then, IP rating, or ingress protection. Both of these lights are actually rated to 67, which means that they're fully submersible in water for up to 1 meter. So these lights are very easy to operate. There's just a button on the side which switches the light on. If you want more power, you simply turn the button here clockwise. If you want less power, just simply turn it back towards you, and you can adjust the beam for a spot and flood, just like that. Now let me see it. Give it full power first, you might be able to see it a bit better. So that's really putting it into a spot, and that's putting it into a floodlight, and I'm going to show you those now for both the lights. Now, another feature of these lights is that you can actually use them with gloves on very easily, and that's obviously a big benefit if you're out and your hands are cold and you want to keep your hands protected. These are not the thickest of gloves, but just really easy. Switch on, as you can see, power adjustment. Very easy to do. You can just see the light changing and flickering there when it's at a different level, and the actual adjustment in the flood to spot beam, very easy to do and work with gloves on. I mean, there's no actual difference in either of the lights. They're both, the size of the buttons, you know, are exactly the same, and the bezel on this one, there's like notches on the bezel, which just means it's really easy to grip. So there's certainly thought to make this easier, ease of use. And again, just changing the power output. The big benefit of this in changing the power output is that you decide exactly how much light you have. A lot of the lights that have pre-programmed power outputs, sometimes the main setting, you've got good light, and then the second setting is actually drops down. So for example, you'll get lights. I have a particular light that the main setting is like 1400 lumen, and then the next setting down is actually 500 lumen. So you're sort of stuck with that unless the light is programmable, and then that adds to the costs. Now these lights also have a battery runtime indicator. So I'll switch the light on. Don't know how well you can see it. I'll show you closer up in a moment. On here you have got like 4 LED lights. Whenever the unit is fully charged, obviously all 4 are lit up, and each time when it drops by 25% power, one of the LED lights disappears. It's pretty much the same on both units. Speaking of power then, the charging of the unit is really good. You don't have to plug a USB cable in. It's actually magnetic charging, so this here just if you look at that, it just clips on. So it's a really nice feature, and I think that really helps with the ingress protection and why the rating is so high. The lights are actually shockproof if you drop them down to about 1.5 metre. Some of these features just help with the durability of the light. If you're going to be using it in the outdoors, possibly, it's great that the lamp is rugged, that it is waterproof. It's never happened, but I've almost dropped one of my lights into a puddle, and at least if that happens on one of these, you're not going to be worried about it. Other features is that after the lights have been running, so on this one here, once it's been running for its 4 hours, it gets down to 25% of power left, it then drops into reserve mode. And the same on this, once it's been running sort of for its 5 hours, it drops into that reserve mode. The reserve mode now is very low output. On this one here, it's 20 lumen. On this one here, it's actually 15. The build quality is certainly very good on both of them. The battery housing is in here, in this plastic case. And I've taken the battery out on both lights, and it's very tight. I think that's good, for the ingress protection. The plastic itself, it's not a hard plastic, it's more of a sort of a soft quality plastic. And the metal or composite compound here on the light, feels really good as well. So if you're going to spend this one here, I think is about £169 retail, and this one here is about 89. If you're going to spend that sort of money, you want the product to feel good. Last of all, really on the features point, the headband here is it's antibacterial, which is a nice wee feature. So shouldn't need. I think you can probably take them off, but so it shouldn't need wash just as often as what a normal one would be. So that's really about it. It's hard for me to cover every single feature of the light. I could have left out one, or I could have left out a couple. But for me, the ease of use, switching on and off, the adjustment of the power on the beam is very easy. The adjustment to focus, very simple and straightforward. I think this really helps with the light output because you're concentrating the light, where you actually want it. The run times, of 4 hours and 5 hours on the H15 are really good. The battery warning indicator where it goes into reserve mode when you have 25% left is actually really good as well. So if I was to pick a light between the two, a difficult choice, but for the use that I have for wild camping overnights, where weight and bulk is a bit of an issue, I would probably go for this one. I've been out using the H7 on a number of occasions, and the light output is fantastic from it. It's really only when you would bring out the H15 and make a direct comparison that you would actually notice it. The light on this doesn't go into just as tight a spot as on the H7. So the actual total distance, I think Ledlenser said the distance is 250 metres of light. That's how far you can see with a light. And they're the same on both lights, but the reason that this one actually does so well in that respect is it's a tighter spot as opposed to the actual flood. So I would probably choose this one because it has everything for my needs. I do like the extra light, but you've a bulk and weight issues there as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this discussion really of my user experience so far with these lights. The channel, as you know, is Tom Heaney Adventure. Make sure you like and subscribe, and it shouldn't be too long before I'll be doing another video. So thank you.